Hi everyone, my name's Vinh Giang and I am a South Australian born Vietnamese. My parents are refugees from Vietnam and they arrived in Australia in 1981, March 31st. And then they had me in 1986. So if you're trying to do the math, I'm currently 34. Now I'm doing a series of videos in collaboration with Community Access and Service SA. So we're doing a series of videos on a variety of topics. The first one that I'm going to speak to you all about is about misdirection and limiting beliefs. Now the second one is about perspective and collaboration and why that's important. And the third is about the formula for success that I've been able to use in my life that's allowed me to achieve moderate levels of success that I hope will help you in your life as well. And then the final one is we're going to talk about family expectations that I experienced and that many in my culture experience, and then also talk about peer pressure that maybe you can relate to as well. These are the 4 different topics that I'm going to run you through. However, first of all, I'd love to share with you a little bit more about me. And I'd just love to give you a little more context on who I am so the rest of these videos actually make sense, just so we can get to know each other a little. You see, if I had to describe myself, I'm 4 things. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm part magician, and the next one is that I am a keynote speaker, so I speak at a lot of different events and I train. And then the final one is I'm a communication teacher. So I teach people public speaking, presentation skills, storytelling, etc. That's who I am in a nutshell. So let's get into this first video. So to get into this first video to talk to you all about misdirection and limiting beliefs, I have to reveal the magician side of me and show you a quick little magic trick. So join me over here. Okay, it's still me, except this is just my close-up table so I can show you the magic. Now, what I'm going to show you is the following. I'm going to take out one of my rings and I'm going to show you one of the first pieces of magic that I learned. It's a pretty cool piece of magic. Now you see I've got a ring and then I've got a piece of string. So I'm going to take the string and then thread it through the ring and then run the string all the way out. And I'll hold one side of the string nice and high and then one of the string where the ring is nice and low. So watch this very carefully. I'm going to make the ring move up the string. Here we go, watch this. Watch carefully. Notice how the ring starts to move. Keep watching it. And slowly but surely it moves all the way up to the other side. You see, this is a classic little piece of magic that a lot of magicians perform. Now I'd love to talk to you a little bit about this. When I perform this piece of magic, people make very complex assumptions. They say, oh, I know how you did that. Vin, you've got some kind of magnet under your watch or in your sleeve, and then the magnet is pulling the ring up the string. No, that's too complex. That's way too complex. And people go, oh, maybe the magnet is your other ring. Maybe your other ring has a magnetic kind of force to it that's pulling the other ring up towards it. And again, it's too complex. What's really interesting is the way this trick is done is actually really simple. I'll show you how it's done. Look over here. I'm going to show you how it's done. This is not a string. This is a piece of rubber band. Okay, so when I take this rubber band and I put it through the ring, what I'm actually doing is I'm elongating the rubber band like this, leaving this dangly bit here, but I'm stretching the rubber band out. And then as I release pressure with these fingers over here, so watch what happens. I stretch it out, I release pressure, it moves the rubber band up and back to its original form, therefore moving the ring. So again, I'll show you again. I relax these 2 fingers here, I relax them, and then the ring moves up. See how that happens? And what you got to do is, if you want to do this trick, just make sure that you conceal this side of the rubber band like so. So you're not doing this, because if you're doing this and people can see the rubber band move, they're like, oh, it's a rubber band. But if you conceal it like I am here, see how you can't see it now? All of a sudden when you do the trick, it looks that much more impressive. Okay, so that's how it's actually done. It's a very simple trick. I hope you take that piece of magic and perform it for your friends and have a little bit of fun with it. Now, when people, again, when they look at magic and they go, wow, the first time I did it, people go, oh, I have no idea how you do that. And then what happens is people start to assume complex solutions. They start to think, oh, you know, the magnet in the ring, the magnet in the sleeves, and they think it's really, really complicated. However, with most magic tricks, the better the magic, the simpler the solution. The solution to some of the most amazing pieces of magic is actually really, really, really simple. So simple that you often find it annoying. This is why magicians have to guard their secrets, because if they told you how the tricks were actually done, you'd get really disappointed. And the reason I use this as a metaphor to share with all of you is that often the things we're trying to achieve in our lives, we tend to think of it as, oh, it's really complicated for me to try to achieve this career success. It's really difficult for me to get into this job. It's really difficult for me to lose weight. I mean, that's one of the examples I can use for all of you. Let me share with all of you because it's an experience that I've just been through. During the pandemic, I put on about 8 kilos. Yes, I didn't exercise very much and put on quite a bit of weight because I just sat in front of the TV watching Netflix and ate a whole bunch of sweet food. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, it's too hard to lose weight now. It's too hard for me to shed some of this weight off. It's so annoying. And I came up with all these complex ideas, kind of like the magnets and everything. I kind of said, oh, it's too hard. I don't understand nutrition. I don't understand how to exercise. I don't have a PT. And then I went to see a nutritionist and they actually said to me, well, Vin, I'm just going to give it to you straight. It's not complex as you think. Vin, if you really want to lose weight, just eat a little bit less and exercise more. And it was so simple and I got so annoyed. I'm like, oh, that sounds a bit too simple. It's kind of annoying. Now, one of the reasons why I tell you that is often we assume complexity and we assume that something is really hard so that we can use that complexity as an excuse for not doing it. That's the first reason why we tend to like thinking things are complex. We like to think things are complex so that, well, we can use that as an excuse. Well, I'm not getting into that job. Well, let's use that example first. Well, I'm not losing weight because it's too hard. I don't know how to do it and it's too hard. Whereas again, the answer is very simple. But then we use that complexity again as an excuse. Or I can't get into that job because, oh, it's too hard. It's the things I have to learn, it's too hard. But then it's because we can use it as an excuse. Can you see how that kind of misdirection comes into play? We misdirect ourselves so then we can use the complexity as an excuse. Then we don't have to do anything. And as human beings, we tend to seek comfort, don't we? So what I've learned to do is I've learned to assume simplicity instead of assuming complexity, which we naturally move towards. So if there's a goal that I really want to achieve, if there's a challenge that I'm trying to overcome, I assume it's simple. And when I assume something is simple, I'm more likely to attempt it. I'm more likely to be motivated to go and actually try. Whereas when you assume complexity, your mind kind of gives up right away. So that's the first message I want to share with you. You'll find that most things in life, with most things you want to do, it's actually not as hard as you might think. Just like with magic. When you look at magic for the first time, you think, oh my goodness, that looks so difficult. But when you dissect it and you see behind the scenes, some of the most difficult pieces of magic trick that appear to be difficult are the easiest tricks that even when you learnt them, you'd feel disappointed. So don't let life misdirect you, like magicians misdirect you. Make sure you see through the illusions and understand that the majority of the things that you want to achieve in your life, they're actually more simple. Or assume simplicity so that you take action and you feel more motivated to try.